Shogun reads, The Last Night, a samurai's final monologue by the fire. Sit with me, not too close, just enough to feel the warmth of the fire. Don't speak. You don't need to. Tonight, I will do the talking. You are tired. I can see it. Your shoulders fall a little lower than yesterday. Your breath reaches just a little deeper, as if your soul is trying to remember how it used to breathe before all of this. So, sit. Let the flames dance for both of us. Let me speak while you rest. The fire doesn't judge. It crackles the same, no matter what sins you carry. It doesn't ask questions. It only warms and burns and listens. And I am like the fire tonight. I won't ask who you are, or what brought you here. I only ask that, for a short while, you stay. I don't have many words left in this life, but what I have, I will give to you. Some say the sword is the soul of a samurai, but I believe it is his silence. You have entered that silence. Now, welcome. I sit here tonight, not because I am brave, but because I have nowhere else to go. This fire, it's not mine. It belongs to the night. It belongs to the 1,000 voices that no longer speak. The bamboo creaks in the wind. The coals sigh beneath the steel. And this sword in my hand has not killed in many years. But still, I clean it. Still, I sharpen it. Not because I expect battle, but because some rituals are heavier than memory. I remember the first time I held this blade. I thought it was power. I thought, this will make me strong. But I was wrong. A sword does not make you strong. It only shows you how weak you really are. Every cut I made, I felt it. In my bones, in my dreams, in the places no healer can touch. If you've never wept after a victory, you've never truly fought. So tonight, I sharpen this blade, not for war, but for truth. The fire reflects in the steel, like it did the night before my first kill. Like it did the night before I became someone I never asked to be. The fire remembers, and I am still trying to forget. They say the dead are gone, that once the breath leaves, the soul drifts into the wind, but I disagree. The dead, they stay. They sit with you by the fire. They walk behind you when the road is quiet. They wait in the corners of your dreams. And they whisper, not with voices, but with memory. Tonight, I hear them clearly. Takeshi, the one who never questioned my orders, even when he should have. Sora, who laughed too loudly, even in war. Musashi, who stood between me and death once and did not survive the exchange. I say their names because no one else will. And when I die, I wonder who will say mine. Some of them I led, others I failed. But all of them live inside this silence. Do you carry ghosts too? The kind that don't scream, but simply look at you with eyes that ask, why? I have no answers, only questions that cut deeper than any blade. They say warriors die twice, once on the battlefield, and again when they are forgotten. I sharpen this blade so I don't forget. I whisper names so I don't forget. I keep this fire so I don't forget. Because if I forget them, I forget myself. Regret doesn't arrive like thunder. It doesn't roar or crash. No, it drips, like water from a roof, after the storm has passed. Quiet, persistent, impossible to ignore. There were moments, small ones, when I could have said something kind. Could have waited an extra breath before drawing steel. Could have walked away instead of forward, but I didn't. And those are the regrets that stay. Not the battles fought, but the kindness withheld. Do you know what a dying man remembers? Not the number of enemies he struck down. He remembers the boy he didn't spare, the hand he didn't reach for, the letter he never sent. I once stood on a hill after a long battle, blood on my hands, silence in my ears, and I looked down at the valley, not with pride, but with emptiness. That was the day I stopped shouting. That was the day I realized I was not fighting for honor. I was fighting because I didn't know how to stop. Regret is not weakness. It is the echo of conscience. And if you hear that echo, you are not lost. You are simply remembering how to feel. Every night, I polish this blade. Even when no battle waits, even when the world is quiet, I sit and I begin. Not because the steel demands it, but because the soul does. You see, the sword is not just metal, it is memory. Every scratch on this surface is a scar on my past. Every shine I restore is a moment I forgive. This isn't sharpening for war. It's meditation, the rhythm. Wipe, breathe, wipe, breathe, calms the part of me that still shakes. There was a time I thought polishing a blade was a chore. Now, it is my sanctuary. I don't do it to kill. I do it to remember what not to become, because the blade, when neglected, rusts, just like a heart, just like a mind. We care for the sword, not because it brings death, but because it teaches restraint. The shine is not for others to see. It's for me, for the one who must choose each day whether to draw or to bow. That choice is what makes a warrior. Not the number of victories, not the titles, not the legends whispered in the street, but the decision to stay human, even while holding steel. That is why I polish the blade every night, without fail, until I no longer breathe. The fire is low now, its light barely reaching my hands. The bamboo no longer sways. Even the wind has grown quiet. Tomorrow, I walk toward a place that may not welcome me, toward a choice I've delayed for far too long. I don't know if I will return. I don't know if I'm meant to, but I do know this. I will not walk with fear. There was a time when I thought a warrior must be fearless. That fear was weakness. That trembling was shame. But now, I see that fear is not the enemy. It is the sign that what you are doing matters. I will walk with fear, but I will also walk with honor. Not because I seek glory, not because I want my name remembered, but because if this is the last path I ever take, I want it to be mine. Not the path carved by duty, not the one forced by bloodline or command. Mine. And when I reach the end, whatever waits there, I will meet it not as a killer, not as a legend, but as a man who chose his steps, quietly, deliberately, without apology. Tomorrow I rise, but tonight I breathe. And I let the fire burn just a little longer. You've stayed this long. Thank you. Not everyone listens to silence. Not everyone sits with ghosts. But you did. And that means, somewhere inside, you too carry a blade. Maybe not in your hand, maybe not of steel, but in your chest, in your breath. A blade made of memory, of mistakes, of moments you wish you could take back, and ones you wish you could hold forever. You're not alone. You never were. Every scar you hide, I have one just like it. Every name you whisper when no one is around, I whisper too. And when the fire in your heart feels dim, when the world turns loud and cruel, remember this moment, this stillness, this warmth. And remember, a warrior is not the one who conquers many, but the one who remembers how to be gentle. Rest now. You've earned it. Let the fire fade. Let the blade sleep. And if tomorrow calls you to rise, rise with peace in your hands, not because you must, but because you choose to. Good night, traveler. The silence is yours now. Sleep well and walk quietly.